Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of No Code Works podcast. This is where we talk with founders, makers, and innovators about who are shaping the future of creating through no code, AI, and designing tools. Today, I'm really excited to have with me Baskaran Manimohan, the founder of CloseFuture, a product studio that's reimagining how we build sustainable tech and digital experiences using no code. Baskaran, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jyoti. Thank you for inviting me to this episode to the podcast. And then it's just pleasure to be here. Just sharing my experiences and how about the journey of Close Future and everything, right? Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. Bhaskaran, your journey particularly has been quite interesting. Um, you grew up in a small village in India, moved to a big city for your bachelor's, and then went on to study and work in France before returning home. And you started Close Future. Would you like to share a little bit more details, with the viewers about your journey and what shaped you along the way?
Yeah, for sure. So, uh, how would, like I said, right? I think if you had gone through my profile as well, it's still I'm right now, in my small town. It's not even I would say it's small town, it's a small village. My home is surrounded by, coconut trees, mango trees, uh, which, I always see, I travel a lot of places, but then, I always want to come back to this place to do something what I like. And, yeah, so that's the goal as well, and like I said, I started in small town, a small village. Most of the time, I think almost 18 years, I spent my time here. And then I moved to Chennai for my bachelor's, but mostly into automotive engineering. But that's because of my, dad's background in automotives. So, in case I have to take care of my family business,
Yeah.
and I want to study that. But then I figured out, it's not the thing that that I would be an expert. So then, I had a plan. In my second year, I had a plan to do my master's in automotive engineering. I want to work with like Benz, Audi, and every all those, the luxurious cars. And so that's why I want to do my master's in Germany. But then I figured out it's not my, expertise. I'm good at it, but I'm not sure, and I will be great at it. Right. So that's why, it's and then I went into, finance more on, stock market trading and everything, try to understand how the business works. Maybe because the business acumen, it's from my grandfather, from my father, they all did business. So I'm seeing that, they started something, they built something, and then so I want to build something, maybe in sometime in the future, right? So then I figured out, okay, what's the best place? I want to go abroad, not to study, I want to go abroad, learn something, see how, the different people, the culture, and everything. And I figured out, okay, now I want to do business, maybe I want to learn something about business, right? So I was looking for the different countries, US, UK, typical place where Indians we go to study MBA or MS, right? But then I figured out, okay, why should I learn English again? I want to learn a new language where I can use it, maybe if I travel somewhere, right? And I thought France had a good B schools, business schools, and I
Yeah.
want to learn French as well. In case if I want to move to, I want to do some business in Africa as well. So half of the countries in Africa, they speak French. And that's how, it started. Went to France and then, did my master's. Yeah, it was quite an experience because when I went there, I don't speak this, language at all. Yeah, so that's how, it went there. Uh, and then, but it was quite a time. I did my master's and then, first year, and then I did several internships around the world in Singapore, in Mumbai. But then I had a different plan. I thought about going to China for a bit, for my last year. But then the COVID came.
Yeah.
So not a good time, because that's where, it started. So not a good time to go to China. But then I went back to France, did my final year. It was quite an experience. But I said, like engineering and then business. Uh, and then, I want to do into consulting because it's, you have the experience to work with a lot of CEOs and, top level. So 1 year I worked in Paris. So mostly it's engineering, business. but never into tech. Tech, I had this passion about tech. I did a lot of, I understand tech, but never built a product, right? But after my 1 year in France, I want to come back to India because I want to build some product, but not, I don't know if it is tech or I want to do it in manufacturing or something. I tried to explore a lot of things. I think I worked in some startup in Chennai as well, more on the growth side. So did all understand the tech ecosystem, how this works, and how to build a good tech product, but never built one. Uh, so that's how, I had an idea about, food tech startup, which I want how we can reduce the food wastage. Uh, so then I was looking for a tech co-founder in Chennai and in Bangalore. Like I was talking with a lot of my friends who can come and join me as a tech co-founder, and it was super hard. And they
Yeah,
because they already have a job, and then they are into something, and then it's hard to convince them to bring them here to my tech startup, but I don't know how to build it.
yeah,
And okay, after some 1 or 2 months, I thought, okay, let's see something what I can build. I was looking for some tools, and it was, I think it's end of 2021. Uh, so it's then I came across, I think the first tool I came across, Software, and then Adalo. So both those tools. So I was building something, and but that was my first experience of building something and seeing real. See, most of the time, it's I have seen something building real in mechanical automobile because I built a go-kart and all those
yeah,
things. And and consulting, it's more like you give advice, but you never see the execution, how this
yeah.
works and everything. But the first time you see building a product, and I was like, oh man, it is good. And then I see at the time I was in a small town, where to see, my family is a big family, and then every time, that month we had like a lot of birthdays coming up, and the good bakery, which is in my hometown, which is like at least like 10 kilometers away. So I have to call them to see what kind of cakes, the good cakes they have. And every time I have to call for, okay, what kind of different ones, can I mix this with, customize it. So they don't have a particular app or like proper website. And I figured out, okay, let's build that first using
No code.
Adalo, yeah, no code level, Adalo Glide. And then, I built that using Glide. And then, was like, went to the founder of, because he has like a 4 or 5 bakery chains.
Yeah,
And then I went to this person and I was talking to him, man, I built this, you want to use it. And he was super surprised. He was happy that, okay, this can be more as a PWA, which is progressive web app, so that,
yeah,
the customers can just scan it and then they can use it and they can order whenever, they can go and search and customize the cakes and they can book the order, right? So which is good. So I think the first experience of talking with the founder and then building that product, uh, yeah. So because like I said, my experience is mostly into business, and I
Do
worked as
you,
a
that's why you call yourself a journalist because, you have that so much experience. You started with, kind of automobiles and then finance and then, tech. So because you're experiencing all this, that's why you call yourself a journalist?
exactly. See, when I did my master's, right? So I was I felt like, okay, I'm not a specialist in like, in anything. Like, okay, I'm the top 0 0.5 expert or 1% expert. I'm not
Yeah,
that. And but I had quite a lot of experience in different things. And whenever I talk to someone, I can relate to any subject they talk to because I can go and
yeah,
talk to them about finance or about, anything about travel or about tech or anything I can relate, and then I can go, much, deep into the conversations, but not an expert, right? But then I always thought, okay, is it the world always respects specialists, but not
yeah,
much the generalist? You have to be expert in something, right?
correct.
But then I think it changed the way it changed. I think, with AI and everything, I feel like it now respects more about the generalist, who has a quite a different experience. And also, I felt like when I started this close future, right? So I felt like the different experience that I had, whatever I learned in France or whatever I learned in different small experiences that helped me build the culture and build the team and everything. So
Did you
that's how.
always wanted to start something on your own, or it just came along the way? Or you always had in mind, I want to do something on my own. I don't want to work in any company, in corporate, kind of.
No, it's see, I want to do something on my own from the beginning. I know that, even when I was in my school, I was always exploring the ideas about, what kind of things that I can build. But of course, Indian parents, we always have this thing. Okay, do complete your degree, complete your,
Degree, yeah,
degrees. Okay, bachelor's and then master's. Complete this, and then you think about. See, I think I was in, when I was in masters. I was talking with my dad that okay, let's expand our family business to Africa. And I was talking with him because I know now I know French, and I want him
yeah,
to. But he said, see, typical Indian parents. He said, okay, now you started masters, complete the masters, then we do
yeah,
it. So it was hard to convince them, right? So it's not about I don't want to work in any company. I did a lot of internships mostly in startups because that's where I can learn about building a company, the culture, and working with people more closely. And you get I'm not if I'm working in MNC, then maybe like it's going to be a small role. My impact will be super small.
yeah.
But then if it is a startup, your role is quite diverse, which is why, if you see my profile as well, I did mostly everything in startups. I worked in the VC side as well, working with entrepreneurs, how they build the products and how they build the team and how they raise money. So that was one side, When I came back this side, it was like, you are experiencing the real thing about building, right? So, uh, but yeah, so see, even when I talk to my grandfather today, he's like 85 years old. He wants to build, it's like he want to build something. See, that's the energy that,
Yeah.
right now. See, our family is like together. My grandfather, he lives with us, and when I talk to him, see, the energy that comes from him is always. It's I feel like okay, he's 85. He still wants to buy something. He want to build something. Oh man, crazy. So kind of things, it gives you energy and to
So
build
you
something.
always had that zeal to, you have to do something on your own, you have to be involved, you have to, make an impact kind of, which will not be eventually possible being in a company. And what did, those international experiences that you have teach you about innovations or work that, you now apply at Close Future or in your journey?
Yeah, so see, the culture typically what we have in India about work environment is different because okay, you feel like uh, it's what I experienced. Not I didn't spend much time working here, but what I experienced, and with some companies is always more pressure, and it's less about the work-life balance, and of course those things I did internship and then worked in Singapore in France. How they so in Singapore is quite different, and then France is more like okay, focus, just Monday to
Mm.
Friday, and then that 8 hours, and then after that, it's illegal to work in France during the weekends,
Yeah,
right? So it kind of, you see that kind of thing, but of course you can't implement that, in an early stage startup, what I'm doing here, of course. But I try to set the limits for them. Okay, guys, no emails, nothing on weekends, or at least on Sundays, even if the client is asking for something, but you don't reply to it, and I'll take care of it because it's my duty. Like, if it is super urgent, I will take care of it because I'm the founder. So I will take care of it. You don't have to see lose your mental peace at least on
oh,
that day,
that's
right?
amazing.
So
Mm.
right, so and I see like last weekend, my one of my team member, he was replying to a message to the client on Sunday. I said, dude, no, you don't need to, right? So, and that is one on the culture, and and then see, it's when you build something, you learn a lot of things, right? So, okay, you want to train new things and to your team members, and then you feel like, okay, if I train them, what if they leave in 1 month, 2 month, right?
Yeah,
So those things you always come back, right? But what if you don't train them? So right
yeah,
then, they are like not good people, but sticking with your company. So
correct.
I think this is a quote from I think Richard Branson. You just train them well enough to be good for the company, and then treat them well enough so that they stay here. And
That's
that's
what you said is amazing because I think maybe this mindset of yours comes from since you have worked in different domains in different cultures and internationally, maybe that's where it comes from because maybe in India, if you see the founders, um, they still treat employees to work after hours, and how that is really okay. And if even if they have to, they're staying up late and working on weekends maybe. So do you think that because you have worked in that, and then you talked about how as a founder, there is a notion with you that what if they leave, and what if I spend on their training and they leave, and then but you have that also notion, you know what, if they don't leave, they're sticking to the same level. That's also, so all these things. Do you think that this is all because you have been that kind of exposure, or even if you would have stayed in India, do you think that mindset would have come through?
See, and no, it's quite, I'm learning as well, Of course, the way that I built in the first year of CloseFuture is the mindset that I had in the first year is different compared to now.
Yeah,
I think it's also quite a mix of, of course you have to build the company. You can't just be, have that work-life balance all the time, not like an
yeah,
MNC, because it's a small company, and then if you want to build it, you have to put extra hours, and of course you might demand some extra work from your team. But of course, at the same time, it's a balance between how do you give that time for them to recharge, get that,
yeah,
so that they have that, thinking, they are not fully burnt out, right? So we see for at first year when I started, it's mostly me and then some team members, and then we don't even have an HR,
yeah.
so it's hard for me. I want to get the job done, and I'm all thinking not much about the employee well-being. So then
Hmm.
I brought my wife into the company more as a HR.
Okay.
She's
Yeah.
into, and here, she's putting that emotional thing, and then empathy, like how, see,
Does she
whenever I
question you
put
because she's your wife? Does she questions you
she
on?
she did. She do. Like, see now as a founder, of course, you can't think everything about, sometimes you think you make your team do more work, and but then there should be a limit, right? So how you do things. And at first year, I think I remember 6 months, 8 months, I didn't even take a survey. I don't know what they want, but we
Yeah.
just worked on, what we do, and then, how we can improve. But then, when my wife, she came, and then we had this, internal survey every, I would say like every 2, 3 months, and then, I give so, feedback to them personally, what they can improve, and then every week, we have some kind of a training. One week it's soft skills, and one week it's about hard skills. We learn new tools, and at first, I was teaching them. Now, team members are coming voluntarily to teach, some new tools, what's
Yeah.
coming up in the market, how we can improve ourselves. So I see the culture, what we have right now, it's more, I would say like, energetic, and then, we talk, and then we see what's the best tech out there, who is doing good, how we can improve ourselves. So those kind of things, I see the different change in our team, which I think it's
So over
because,
the years, you can say that it has been evolved, and you have evolved as well from, how you started your journey, and then now, since you are much stable, there has been an evolution from that. You have built Close Future as a no-code product studio using tools, like Bubble, Xano, Framer, Superbase, etc., etc. What drew you towards the no-code ecosystem in the first place? How did you heard about it? Did you always wanted to try this?
See, like I said, right? So when I was trying to build a food tech startup, which is like, completely using code, which is going to take at that time, I think in the beginning of 2020, end of 2021, it's going to take a lot of time. Uh, and also I couldn't find the right person who can come with me for the journey, right? So then, I figured out, okay, what's the best, quickest way that at least as an MVP that I can go and try and talk to the shopkeepers, and then, okay, I can show the product. I want to show the product, which at the time it's hard. So then I figured out, okay, what's the best tool out there? I was came up with, like, Adalo, and then, Glide, and all those tools, but they are also limited, in certain ways, but then I tried to figure out what's the best tool out there that gives more flexibility in terms of building it. And so that's how I came across Bubble. And it's just, that of course it has its own learning curve.
Yeah,
But then, it's you just learn, and then, the versatility in building a product is it's super, right? So you can create your own plugin, and then, it has the solid database, and of course it has its limitations that, see, whenever we take any tool, learn any tool, I want to push to the limitation. What's the limitation of this tool? And then we
yeah,
figure out whether this tool provides the capabilities to overcome the limitations. Like in Bubble, they provide plugins to overcome the limitations, which is
yeah.
good. right? So like in Framer as well, they provide, plugin. You can create a plugin and then you can publish it to the marketplace and you can use it. So things like that, I trust, tried multiple tools and yeah, so that's how we came across, I started
You're
with
talking
Bubble,
about
but
the limitations. Do you think no code has reached a point where it can handle large scale products, production grade applications, or do you think it is still evolving?
see, we have built many products, right? Using, Bubble, Xano, and then it depends. And us personally, like I said, we test the limitations and we see what else we can bring to solve the limitation. Sometimes, okay, Bubble is not typically good for, I would say, like marketing pages, landing pages. Uh, and as a landing page, you want the performance to be super fast,
Yeah.
SEO. So then we thought, okay, let's bring Framer to this, and then use Bubble for the application. And of course, no code has, you can build big products. I think we see what we have right now. Even I think Flutterflow, Axis Bank, one of the product is built using Flutterflow. Axis Bank, it's just used by, you see that. And of course, it's a part of a product, they use Flutterflow to build it, right? Uh, it's about choosing the tool, understanding the limitations, what they are good at, what they are not good at, and then choose the tool depending on it. So that's why we use Framer for landing pages. And then, we use web apps for Bubble, and then we understand the business case. When I talk to them, okay, are you going to build, a fintech product? So then we have to be super careful on, all the compliance and how it stores the data. So then what's the best tool? Can Bubble handle all this? So then we bring some other external tool like Superbase and then handle front end with Bubble.
But there
So
is a
yeah.
there is a, I cannot say it a misconception. There is a notion, I feel, that with no code products that they are not super, privacy friendly kind of. So banks using no code tools, do you think the protection of data of customers, it can justify to that?
Banks, I don't. It's a case, right? So we have built one fintech startup completely using Bubble. What we use the, but not level, they're not storing any card details, where of course,
Mm,
we want the customers to go and use Razorpay or
yeah,
use Stripe to
right.
make the payment. So
Yeah.
we're not storing the customers' card details or anything. We just store the data. But of course, it's not about, when it is about the security, it's always up to the expert. The tools provide the securities, right? So and it's the job of the developer to find the best practices and how they build it, and how they do the testing and everything. And of course the tools provide all the facilities, and it's just the job of an expert to build this tool, build the app in the best secure way, right? So and of course Bubble has its way of the securities. And then if you want more, if you're looking for a certain type of compliance like HIPAA compliant or anything
Bubble
like
does
that,
not
so
support
then
HIPAA
that it,
compliant, right?
yeah, so then you choose a tool like for the backend, like either Xano or Superbase. Then
Yeah.
you choose based on that, right? And then you can choose servers, which is I think much easier to choose it the servers in Superbase or Xano than Bubble, uh, right? So
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 how do
that
you
kind of thing you
approach
can always do.
choosing, how do you approach choosing the right tool for, each project that you build? Is it based on the use case, scalability, or, client is familiar with Bubble or Flutterflow, so you go ahead with that? Or do you suggest them, for this particular scenario, this tool is best?
100% right. So see, first CloseFuture we started as a Bubble. So then the only thing that we know is Bubble, right? So we
Yeah.
sell. Okay, guys, we can be good at what we do at Bubbles, and then please you tell us the idea, and then we see whether we can do it in Bubble or not. But then it evolved. We went into Framer, and then now we build like so many products using Flutterflow and Superbase a lot. So now we are super versatile. We can build web apps, we can build using code as well. We have team members who are good at code using cursor and everything, and we have
Yeah.
we can build using Flutterflow. So now we are super versatile in building everything. And so that's why at the beginning of the call, like client call, I don't ask anything about, okay, I'm not suggesting any tool. I just want to hear your problem and what
Yeah.
you want, and then try to see, at first level, okay, you want a bubble app, you want a web app or a mobile app. Okay, web app. Okay, then I think about, and of course, if it is a web app, then I think about, it's bubble. If it is a mobile app, then I think about Flutterflow. and whether then I think about whether they want a database that is super scalable, at a high level. Maybe they want to use the database that can be connected to the multiple places, and
Yeah.
maybe in the future, and which is like Superbase. Then I recommend Superbase. If it is a quick MVP, and then they don't have too much, we don't have to do much complex work. Then
Yeah.
we just put everything in. I think most of the time 80% of the products, 80 to 90% can be built in Bubble, which is
Yeah.
keep the front end, back end, everything in Bubble, and then it's much faster than choosing one, two different tools. But if that is a need, I think we do that. If it is a product that, of course, we're talking about fintech or something about, pharmaceutical, then of course I prefer a solid backend, which is either Xano or Superbase. Uh, then put that everything in Bubble.
And how many people are there in, Close Future in your team?
So right now we're almost 10 to 15, 10 full time, and then five, we just have freelancers, Bubble experts come and go, and then we have other team members, but mostly designers come and go. Yeah, so we have that the flexibility. See, this is also what I see in my team. At first
Yeah.
I learned it, so I can hire everyone as a full time, but then I figured out, okay, the like in agency life, sometimes you get too many projects. Sometimes there'll
With
be like,
no
oh,
time.
less
Yeah.
projects. Okay, how do you improve, right?
Yeah.
And then you figured out, okay, how do I balance this? Because I can't hire everyone as a full time, and then I need to give projects to them, and so that's why I won't have that limited number of 70%. I would say like full time, and then 30% freelancers, so that if I have
That
more
makes sense.
projects, then I bring freelancers, and so
Yeah.
that full time, my team will always have projects to work on something, learn something.
Yeah.
So that's the balance I want to have.
That makes perfectly sense. And all your team is based remotely, or you guys have office, working office?
We have an office, but okay, the interesting part is, my office is in the first floor of my home.
Oh,
So everyone comes to my home,
that's
except
nice.
one or two members. They are remote, but mostly we all work together. We work from my home, and it's an office, and then they all travel, and then it's not quite far away. They are almost near. So
Wow.
yeah, it's yeah. So I don't know. I started as a freelancer, when I came back to India, and then but freelancing is good, but after a time you want to work with people, you want
Yeah.
to talk, and then brainstorm, and then which is hard for me at the first 1 year. And then I thought, okay, no, I'm not going to do the remote thing. Remote works maybe for some time, but you want to learn, and then you want to grow. I think you have to be
Interaction
together
is
and in the
important.
interaction 100%.
Okay. And for someone who is planning to start, you know, something like this, something, an agency, or, there are one or two people, um, can you just tell us what are the sources they can get work from? How do you guys get projects?
See, if someone as a freelancer, or like or start want to start an agency, uh, and okay, two things, right? To get the work, of course, you just put like 2 months of your time in learning something what is new, and something that if right now, if I have nothing, right, I just have nothing, and then I'm going to start something new. What I would do is I just go and, okay, what is something new right now? And something new that is right now is the AI video, AI audio, AI voice. Those are all new things. Then I can put that 2 months just to learn what is there, and how I can create a AI video, something that is real, and that I can just go and talk to some brands, right? So I build something, and then I put that work in Twitter and LinkedIn, and I just put my work, and then I don't care about what they say, but I'm just starting out, and I'm just be open to learning, and then I connect with people who are all in that particular ecosystem. And
Yeah.
once I connect with them, then I see, okay, now I can build something. I can, I have that experience of 2, 3 months, and then I can learn from the best, from via Twitter or something. Uh, and then I figure out, see, what's the platform? You have a lot of platforms, right? Okay, of course, you can put the work in Twitter, and then someone can reach out to you. Same thing in LinkedIn as well. Someone can reach out to you, but always try to find where is your target audience. Like if I'm building an AI video or something, okay, my who is my target audience? Like maybe I can build some ads for the brands. from some from brands. Okay, who where they are, maybe mostly in LinkedIn and Twitter. So then I reach out to them, or like there are some other platforms like
So do you have a
you have like
marketing team or um, like so this is about reaching out, but the projects that you go get from, do you get it from Bubble? Do you get leads from Flutterflow framework kind of or
it's a mix of everything, right? So see, I think almost 4 months back, we don't have a marketing team. It's just me
hmm,
mostly. We have a small team, and then most of the time it's referral. And I was doing not much marketing, but right now, since we are growing, we need to have a proper team. So right now we have a proper team for content writing, and I do the content writing as well. And then we have a team for SEO, and
yeah,
yeah. So those things we have, and I have another team, for mostly for the other side after marketing, cold emailing, that we were trying to work on. So that
yeah,
of course we have, it's I'm trying to build, but wherever I go I try to put more time before I just give everything to them. Okay, SEO, but I want to learn SEO because
yeah.
SEO takes time, and then SEO is evolving to AEO, and all those things is evolving. So you can't just give to
So we
them and see
understand
after
you are
two
a
three.
journalist, you're gonna learn everything. So Bhaskaran, we understand that. Yeah,
Exactly, right. So it's also about like if you're a founder, you can't
founder,
just
yeah,
give everything to them,
yeah,
figuring themselves out. And maybe after 2 3 months, I feel like, okay, I'm not getting anything from SEO. Why am I spending too much
I
money on this?
understand that.
If you don't know anything, right? But that's why I want to learn SEO. So then I figure out, okay, if something is not working, why it's not working. I can go and fix those things. Okay, guys, this content is not working. Then we have to figure out what different way of we can express. We can show our expertise. And if I know it, if I don't know anything on the SEO part, then I just leave it to them. If something is not working, I'm going to tell them, okay, guys, it's not working. Let's shut down the SEO part. No, it should not be like that, right? So at least on a high level, I want to understand this so that I can get the job done. Which that's what we do it with all the tools that we are into. Like Flutterflow, I
Yeah.
learned. Framer, I learned. Superbase, I learned from scratch.
No,
I
no. So,
know
Bhaskar, now you need to
we have to do
stop
it.
telling us what you have learned because I think you have learned everything now. The list is too long, I feel. So if any other new tools come, I believe that you are going to learn that as well because I understand your perspective that as a founder, you need to know not the core of it, but at the top level, you need to understand what the team is working on so you can relate with them and help them out as well. You talked about AI as well, and AI has, entered almost every creative workflow now, from design to development. How it has changed the way you and your team work? Do you guys use AI? And my follow-up question to this is, do you think that AI will replace no code, or AI is, an addition to no code, kind of a collaborator, or do you feel, it's not a collaborator, it's a disruptor?
See, of course, I think I would say like it's for me it's disrupting everything what we have done. Of course, in terms of every industry that I talked about, like SEO or design or
Yeah,
anything that we have talked about, right? So anything knowledge work, anything that has data, everything it's going to be disrupted by AI for sure. But
yeah.
then it's also about like how you use AI to build something, and then create something, and then just be good at the tools, and then
Yeah.
and then build something that is really good. Because see, right now I think it's all about time. Okay, before you can take some time about building this, but right now okay, guys, you have AI, pick the speed, and then be more proactive. That's what even the client says. The client come to us and then say, okay, guys, we I built this thing using Lovable, which is super good, but I
Yeah.
something is not working. Of course, I know something won't work. We then the expectations is more, but also at the same time, the way that we build using Bubble, we have to change, like, or any tool, right? So we have to improve the process, and I have to give them the best tools. So that's how, they have access to Claude, and, the subscription. We have as a team, and then, so that, everyone can use Claude to get the best, if they're going to
So
write a
do you
SQL query
push your
using.
team to learn AI, to learn new tools? Do you push your team to do that?
Exactly. So I have a team member who is just, built most of the time, 1.5 years, 2 years just using Bubble. But right now I want him to learn, Superbase as well.
Yeah.
Then we have a project, which is Bubble and Superbase, and Bubble as a front end and Superbase as a back end. So I have already a team member who already built using Bubble Superbase, but this one who wants to learn. So then I transferred the project to him so that I told him, dude, you are going to start this project maybe in 10 days from now. So learn Superbase a bit, so then you have the real world experience. Then I give him more time in this project. I tell the client as well this is going to take a bit more, but it's because I don't want to pressure him in the process. Just build something, and also of course we guide him, and other team member will guide him to build something, right? So it's we learn something, but at the same time, we want him to use it in the real world, like, whenever we get real projects. So that's how we learn together.
Okay, so we all agree that the AI is something which is going to be the future, and as a team and as an agency, everyone needs to be ready for it. So you as a founder, you are preparing your team to go through that learning curve so that you can adapt in the future what is coming our way. So, Bhaskar, since we were talking about AI, how do you think AI will reshape the kind of skills entrepreneurs and makers need over, next 5 years?
Well, that's a that's a quite good question. Of course, it's see we think about a lot, right? So about the team, of course. Me personally, how we are going to build, and we help the clients in building it, right? And
Yeah,
when you talk about entrepreneurship, it is if they're going to build something on a tech side, right? The way I see it right now, it's anyone can just go and write about something and then thinking an idea, and then get that quick thing, right?
yeah,
So using Lovable or Replit, and then you connect. Okay, you are asking Lovable to connect to the backend. It's now they have Lovable Cloud, and Replit has its own database as well. But if you want to have more advanced, you can do that. So anyone can just build that first stage. But then it now it's all lies to the distribution, and and also to have a good product, right? You can't just rely on the since you are building a tech product, you need to be sure this is your moat. This is
yeah.
the one thing that you have as a moat, right? Then it has to be secure. Then you need to treat the customer's data that is super valuable, and it's not to be exposed, and then it has to handle a lot of things, and whether it's working in all type of edge case scenarios. So those all things come because since it's your tech product, you can't just rely on Lovable or Replit or any AI tools that out there, right? So you need to make sure. So that's why you need to understand about building a product, and also it's about having that user experience. So now you feel like every AA product that's been built, it's going to be almost the same. It's we feel like
Yeah.
okay, there is no taste, right? You need to have that taste, to your product. So that will define your product. Even like if I'm going to build AI product, some AI tool for this particular niche, everyone can build that right now. It's not nothing is stopping them. Since it's all becoming democratic. The way of building it, right? So the only thing that's going to differ, it's about the taste. What taste do you have, or how do you solve the problem of a customer in a better way, and also the distribution. So those two things are going to play a big role in terms of entrepreneurship. And I feel like uh, I don't know. It's maybe, I feel like there'll be less jobs in the future. But then, everyone wants to will become some kind of an entrepreneur in terms of, building small product. Like what we have it in India. Like we have like a lot of Kirana stores. Like, everywhere you go, everyone has become it was some kind of an entrepreneur. They built something, they did something. I think that's what I think, we will see a lot. Uh, in the coming next 2 3 years we will see because the product building has become super easy, right? So but of course it has its own the way that we have to think about, but then at the same time it's the distribution game is big, so that we also have to figure out. And for the entrepreneurs I would say, yeah.
Um, so there are two things that you mentioned. One, you talked about the taste, which I feel is a great perspective because everyone is building with AI, and now you said that every product looks same. That's also true. Everyone is using the same AI, maybe open sources and everything. Um, do you think that every product needs AI, Or is it just like because the world is going to the AI wave, and every founder is in the FOMO that they need to have an AI because every product now has AI.
See, right now, I think, whenever we get any product, right? So whenever we get any project, then we think about, we're just building it, and then, but then, even founders, they're thinking about, okay, we want to have some kind of an AI in this product.
Yeah.
We build the social media, local social media
Do you think it's a
for a
pressure
company.
pressure on the founders? Maybe their product does not need even AI.
At least of course, they don't. Some products they don't even need an AI. But then it's if it is a startup, they want to get some funding. They want to show to the investors that okay, we are solving it. This particular problem, but better using AI. But even though
Yeah.
AI is not helping much, right? So
Yeah.
it's balancing both. But at the same time, we discuss with the founder as well. Do you really need AI in this area or like and we built a text like I said, we built a local social media app where we build like a simple social media app but just for the communities. But then now we are implementing some certain new AI which is like okay, if the person write a big blog post, I don't want to read a big LinkedIn article, maybe a TLDR, just using AI, if it reaches certain characters, so that that arguments it makes the user experience better. So whenever when there are things like that, we tell, okay, this is a good idea, then we will implement it. And whenever it's not relevant, of course, we tell, okay, this is not good. Maybe we can do it in a different way. But of course, there is that pressure of, put that AI in every product that I built, we built. So
So
that's
you give kind of
the
a consultation
pressure.
to the clients as well if the product really needs AI or not, right? You provide that feedback.
Yeah, see, exactly. See, my job here is not to just follow the rules or what they want, and I try to
Yeah.
understand what really the product wants,
Yeah.
because that's what we like. It's we don't want to be a developer team. Just okay, you say something, we build it. No, I
Yeah.
want to question. We always have this question of why do you want to build this? Can we do it in a better way? And
Yeah.
so that conversation, we liked it from our side, and because we are questioning, and then we want to build a better product, and the client like this as well because okay, someone is questioning my
Hmm.
thinking, and so which gives a different perspective. So yeah, those kind of things
That's
always we
great.
have it. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And the point of view which you gave, I think that fairly make total sense because you said that since investors want AI, and they want to invest in AI products, so now there is kind of a pressure on founders to get it solved via AI because that's where from the funding is gonna come because investors are after AI launch products. You mentioned one thing more that the jobs will might be going to be less. We have seen a lot of layoffs recently. Amazon laid off 14,000 employees. We are hearing that IBM is going to gonna do a layoff. Do you think for uh, developers who are in the no code domain, like there is a threat of future what their jobs will going to go?
See, it's always right. So we this domain is new as well. No code, low code. It's been started like quite a few years back, but then it's evolved. Right now, there are like you see a lot of experts. Good ones, and this in this industry is evolving as well. But what I see is, it should be they of course they have to learn a new tools like it's. I think I don't want to stick with this no code low code. I just want to stick with the product building. Whether how this product building evolves, you just learn a new way of building it. But if you have a base, like like if you someone like who's a bubble expert who understands how the tech works, how the front end, back end, security, everything, how it works, it just tool doesn't matter. Building something doesn't matter because it's if we when we went to Flutterflow, it's a new tool, but still, it's the same thing. It's about how we have
Yeah.
to be super, good at, protecting the customer data and everything, right? It's about transitioning the skills. But even right now, I have a team, in team member who is in UI UX designer, but now, he's exploring a lot of AI, how we can bring certain graphics, into the landing pages that we build. So those kind of exploration, like, if the person is really curious about what's new things that's coming out, I think he
Yeah,
will tackle all those, things. It's not about low code, no code. It's just the roles will evolve. Of course, the UI Figma designers now, when they think about, right, okay, before, it's just you have an idea, you put it the wireframe and then do the design, low fidelity, high fidelity, and then go to development. But right now people think, okay, I can just ask it in Lovable, it gives me good layout. Why should I
yeah,
go to designer, right? But then there is the thing of, okay, you need to have a better experience, user
yeah,
experience. The proper designer need to be there to understand that, right? So right now I think, it's also about the designer has to upskill them in terms of how better they can, just talk with the customer about, okay, this is what you want, you can see it in Lovable, but of course we are going to improve the experience, the way I'm going to talk to the customer a bit and then understand how they want. And so those kind of things, the skills has to be evolved, right?
yeah,
It's same with the developer as well, not just stick with Bubble, learn, Superbase, other tools, understand how this evolves. And yeah, so that's why we don't want to stick with, like any tool. We just want to go the one that provides the best at that time, and then, figure out along the way, right? So I think it's not about just learn one thing and then keep stick to it for 5, 10 years. No, it's not going to be
yeah.
like that. You just evolve every 6 months, every year,
So
new
eventually,
tools
the
come.
people who are going to survive is the one, who are dynamic in their jobs and their roles, who are keen to learn, and who can keep up with the industry standards and practices and new things, we can say. So we are coming to an end of this podcast, and Bhaskaran, there are two more questions that I would like to ask you. First
Mhm.
is, can you give a one piece of advice to the budding founders, entrepreneurs, anyone who is starting, who is still skeptical whether they had to start, they can start or not, from your journey?
Oh, so that's a good question, right? So my piece of advice would be always, right? So there will be so many. See, life is full of always, balancing the certain,
Yeah,
and the uncertainty, right? It's about, if you have too much uncertainty, then it's not good, and if it is too much certainty, then it's not good as well. You need that uncertainty to be more creative,
yeah,
but you also need to have that, that life, that, if you have too much commitment, right? So then I want to buy this, then entrepreneurship is not good, because you have that commitment, and entrepreneurship doesn't click, straight away, but it builds
yeah,
something. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work.
yeah,
Then, at the same time, when you're building it, you have that pressure of buying something. I have this family commitment. It's always tough. You can't balance that, right? So that's why you need to balance. You need to keep that low so that, you can focus on the product building, because it takes sometimes months, years to click that, for you. So if you have that same pressure at the same time, so it's not going to work. You feel like you are burning out, you're not getting what you want, and it's not, see, my advice would be like, just play the probability game. First product doesn't work, second product doesn't work, you learn, and then third product might work, fourth product work, fifth product will go viral, and then you will become hugely successful. So you have to survive until the fifth. Otherwise, you just, die in the third one, second one, so then you miss that opportunity. So my only goal is like, I want to prolong that, journey as long as possible, and then, just play the probability game. So just, nothing, I would say, yeah. So that's mostly it.
that's some
You
great
can't predict the
advice.
success.
Yeah, that's some great advice, I feel, because you're talking about how much commitment it takes to be a founder, to be an entrepreneur. Sometimes you need to sideline your needs and your luxuries, and be there, stick with the team, stick with the people, and keep on evolving. And there is a risk involved in it, and the journey is not too smooth. But yeah, you have to be there to achieve something. Yeah, I think that's some great piece of advice. And if anyone want to reach out to you to close future for building a website or an application, how they can reach
He can reach out to me via LinkedIn, Baskaran Manimohan directly, or like, just send an email to us like baskaran@closefuture.io or hello@closefuture.io. Any email, just ping me. We'll be quick to respond, and then, we're happy to help. Right. So we'll have an intro call and then see whether we are a good fit. So then, we'll take it forward from there.
That's great. So yeah, this is it for the podcast. Looking back at your journey, Bhaskaran, from a small village in India to building a global product studio. What's the one message, that one piece of um, advice, one short piece of line or motivation quote that you would like to say to our audience?
Oh,
Just summarize it in one line.
well, it's always tough to summarize. Uh, See, it's at the end, you have if you have to feel satisfied about the way that we live the life, and I don't like to be someone kind of a mediocre, and something, and something we build that people use it, and then and that is helping
No, now
someone,
you have to
right?
reply in one line, Bhaskaran.
Okay.
Yeah.
Online is always tough. Online it's always tough, right? So uh, what do I say here?
Okay, you can have two lines. Go ahead.
Okay, my plan, or I would say, like, always have a plan, and most of the time it doesn't work. Like for me, like when I had a plan every time, because like I said, I want to go to Germany, but it didn't happen. But I went to France. But then I want to do something. I want to go to Africa, but it didn't happen. Every time, all I have a plan, but never it works. But then that plan always, I work for the plan. That plan helped me to take me to somewhere, right? Which is what I would recommend, or which is what I do personally. And now I know what to do in next 1 2 years, but I know for sure that it won't happen because most of the time it didn't happen. But when I work for it, it will take me to somewhere. Maybe it
Okay.
show me some way along the way. Just have
That's
a plan, and then you will figure out the way along the way. Even though the final plan won't work. Uh,
that's some
that's
great
it.
advice. You make plans, but don't think that, the plans will work out. But even if they don't work out, eventually something right will going to happen to you.
Yeah,
Bhaskar, it has
yeah.
been amazing hearing your story. Thank you for sharing your insights and inspiring perspective with us today. To everyone listening, check out closefuture.io to see Bhaskar's work and stay tuned for more episodes of No Good Work Conversation. Until next time, keep building, learning, and keep creating the future. Thank you. Thank you, Bhaskar, for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you for inviting us. Thank you.